War boss. War. So Adam Douglas at the Hobart GT. He ended up going undefeated as well, but he did have a first round draw. So let's go with this. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And that's what we call the list name, guys, just in case you're listening. So we have two beast bosses. So we're seeing consistency here, guys. There's other lists that don't have Gaz, but you're seeing Gaz is really very much making his comeuppance all over the place. And I'm going to say, I predict these things, because I was saying that, I mean, even 3 weeks ago, right? When we were actually looking at the changes and everything, even in my videos and tier lists and such like that, I put Gaz up there for a while now. So I'm not saying it's all me. Obviously, these guys knew ahead. I'm saying we're all on the same page here as a community, and that's great to see. That's what I'm trying to say. But something I really like to see too is the dual beast bosses. I still think there's a lot of room left on the table for the beast boss and the Beast Snaggas. Gaz doesn't take away from them. Gaz is coming in with them because you want all that damage, because now more than ever the meta is getting thicker and beefier. You see another dynamic duo, just like we've seen with Mr. Russo, Gaz and Maz on the same list, right? The dynamic duo for the orc combo, followed by Nabas Masker, Edwapa's Kill Chopper, my favorite get, and the single war boss. Single war boss ends up on every list, guys, huh? Just like when we did the power ranking list. So we have Beast Snaggas, 2, 3 trucks, great number, 1 unit of Gretchen, only 1. We have Mega Knobs to escort Gaz, Knobs, 1 big unit of Knobs. So you still had that scalpel unit. Then he had 3 3-man units. So that's interesting, because even with the relic, he chose to opt for 3 3-man units, knowing his list was already getting quite elite, quite thick, because you still had Maz, Gaz, Knobs. He just knew he couldn't afford to have also a big unit of Squig Boys. Then he has 3 units of Storm Boys. So every point he had left over, he paid for the Storm Boys. When you look at this list on the table, when you had the leftover 20 weird odd number of points up, that's where the other 10 Gretchen went. They just turned into Storm Boys. So it is what it is. I really like this list and its spread and how he still has enough killy, and he had barely squeaky enough scoring potential on this list. Or at least we'll hope to see. So let's see in his first matchup. So remember, dynamic duo of Gaz and Maz. And right off the bat, all Chaos Knight. He has 1 Rampager with Panoply of the Curse Knight. I believe that's the one that gives it a 2-up save. And then we have War Dogs, Brigands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then he has Executioner, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4 Carnivores and 2 Nurglings. So Nurglings are helpful to these guys because they do allow them to do the secondaries, but in this matchup, possibly with the Orcs, you could use them to move block the Orc, try to slow the momentum of those Squig boys. This could actually be this is a not lovely matchup for the Orcs by no means. Even with having all those units that have the big killing potential, with the amount of firepower, with the strats that the Chaos Knights have, just jump through the walls and get reliable damage off. They have ability to get feel no pains, to get unreliable damage through them sometimes. They have the weird small alarm fire indirect from some of their weapons, their war dogs as well. So it's just, all in all, this list is hard. Mind you, each of these units has 8 OC and toughness 10. So these knights is just tough for orcs as a whole, right? Even without the Titanic ability and such, knights are hard for orcs because of that. Primarily throughout 40k history, orcs would beat them because we would throw up the score on them. We have too many guys to beat them on the objective. 8 OC with the size of objectives they have means that they could just really steal objectives from you late game, even if you've been beating them early game. And they still have enough knights for activation. So this is a highly competitive list. It can win events. I believe it actually did this weekend. So this is a really respectable list to tie, because he tied into the do I have a direct answer? No, I don't have a direct answer right off the bat, because he had Maz and he had Gas, dual beast bosses and knobs. He had just about maxing out the max and Squig and Squig boys with that weapons kill chopper. He about maxed out in his killing potential and still ended up with a tie on this list. So all in all, some lists are just hard matchup, guys. It's just how 40k works. Skew lists can just be that way. So really, he did a great job because he still got second overall in the event and put up a tie right here. And I'm, in that case, Orcs is never beaten. So we'll move on to his next matchup. But a great job right there, because that's a very hard army to even tie into for Orcs. It's one of our nightmare kind of match. So then we have Tyler Wall. His next matchup is, I can't start reading that guy's name, is Chaos Space Marine. So right here, let's take a look. It looks like there's a straight up Chaos Space Marine. Chaos Lords with the Demon Hammer, Chaos Lord with another Demon Hammer, and Talisman of Burning Blood. Master Possession with the Mark of Slanesh. Cultist Mob, followed by Chosen. One has the icon of corn, so he's trying to be a punchy, possibly find death. The other was Undefeated. Two two-man units of obliterators with one is Mark of Nurgling, one is Mark of Chaos Undivided. The Nurgle one is so he can't be shot. Then we have one big unit of Possess, followed by two Warp Talons with Slanesh, so they can get their, I believe that's lethal hits. And then we have Forge Fiend, one with Nurgling, one with Undivided. So the reason they have Undivided, guys, is so that one they can use for the offensive throttling potential, the Nurgling one, so that they can start the game Nurgling ability. So then we have the Chaos Rhino, a Nurgling again, and then Slilax. That's just a fighting character, and then the Blue Scribe for their action. All in all, this is a different twist on the fighting potential of these guys. Chaos Lords are going to go onto these units of Chosen, go on the Rhinos. Warp Talons are going to fight. Come out in deep strike, get in little skirmishes if they can, try to throttle. We got the Oblits that are, these Forge Fiends that are really good at destroying trucks and such. And then Nurglings just for Nurgling thing. And Slax is a fighty character. This is definitely something to be fearful of as an Ork player to an extent. But when you're running Gas and Mozrog dynamic duo plus these quick hog boys, you do have enough meat to really meet this army in the mid table and just say, are you really going to get through this? And if not, Gaz is about to Kool-Aid man through that rapid ingress on the side of the table over here. Because remind you, you do have the Forge Fiends that you're going to have to try to tank the damage of as you move your way off the table, but you are still going to make your way up the table and have enough momentum to continue with your beast bosses on foot to start touching those Forge Fiends when they get down there. You have the knobs to start clearing out these chosen units, even if they get charged on as a counter charge because the truck got popped off, they could fight in death. So all in all, it's just not going good for them. Like I said, they don't, or Chaos Marines aren't trading great into Orks, even into our elite list, and our elite list have enough durability to kind of tank some of that damage, close the distance, and retain momentum. So he ended up crumping this get, but still, I'm pretty sure it was a good game. I mean, it's not an easy win by no means, but hey, we move on to his third matchup with Rob White, the comedian. No, I'm just kidding. Imperial Knights. His third matchup is Imperial Knights. We have the Crassus Knight Lancer. So that guy actually has like cool abilities for like advanced charge and tank shock, I believe. So I gotta check him again. But and then he has I don't know if he has advanced charge anymore, but yeah, I don't think he does anymore. I think he used to be able to get it from like giving the abilities, the bonus abilities, and now he can't or something. It's like weird. But the Knights Gallant, followed by the Knights Valiant, followed by I just want to see, I like to see how many small knights they have because that's what matters when they're playing against orcs. We have 3 Armingers, 2 Warglaves, and 1 is a Helvrin. Ooh, so he's coming in here with 3 big knights, and one of them is trying to fight us toe to toe. That's not great for him. Not to be mean. I mean, Imperial Knights, if you have like a orc list that's relying on saves, let's say you're playing with a bunch of mega knobs, you're playing with a bunch of mechs or something like that, yes, knights can still very much be a potential threat to you, but they're not going to be a threat to you if you're running, if they're running a Knight Lancer and you're running a bunch of Squig Hog boys and you have Mod Gaz on the list as well, is ready to one-shot them, right? They have good firepower to focus fire something down, so you don't want your Squig Hog boys necessarily to be out in the open and just get annihilated. But when they do start to come up and try to play the mission, once you've killed their small Arbingers and the beast bosses have run up out of the trucks and killed them by themselves with their Beast Snagga boy unit, these guys have to come up and play the game, and once they have to come up and play the game, they're kind of getting picked up. You do have to, it could be a little tangy here and there, but I'm not trying to be rude. I mean, Adam put up 99 points out of 100 into him, so I was trying to say it nicely, but just think about it that way. Once the smaller knights get taken out of the game and the big ones have to close the distance, and you're not overcommitting your beast bosses into them, and you're taking them down slowly as you can, they clutch in the corner, Squig Hog boys come out of terrain, Gaz, Kool-Aid man through the wall, boom, they're in trouble. So going to this fourth matchup, we have a Deathwatch Space Marine army. So I'm not super familiar with Deathwatch, but enough to understand that this is interesting. So let's see what's going on here. Captain in Gravis armor. Ooh, I think he's always slept on, to be honest. Bladed driven deep, so he's coming out here ready to fight. I like to see that. Why I like the Captain in Gravis armor is I believe he halves damage, if not reduced by 1. But I'm pretty sure he has damage with Captain in Gravis armor. Making sure he still does, and then new codex. So I think he's slept on for the most part. I'm glad to see him on the list. Kind of cool. Lieutenant with combi weapon, aggressor squad with Autos Boltstorm gauntlets and Fragstorm grenade launchers. We have a Centurion Devastator squad with twin missile launchers and with Centurion missile launcher and Twiz Lance cannons. So these guys are coming into play because they have the ability to just put on a certain kind of firepower that Space Marines really feel like they need, certain in the meta, and with certain detachments they need coming in. So do I know exactly what the Deathwatch could do with these guys? Not really, actually. So I must have missed this one. I'll come back to this, but I must have missed what those guys were doing. I'll creep you up in this. And we have Eradicators, a 3-man unit, another 2 small men two small units of Inceptors, followed by 2 scout squads, a Corvus Blackstar. Oh, okay, getting interesting here. 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts and a Whirlwind. So this list is just straight up out the box. Caught me a little off guard here, guys. I don't know, I missed this one. Yeah, I'm the Centurions. I know they're very slow, but they're very durable. You have reliable last cannons. The Corvus Blackstar. Let me take a peep at what Corvus Blackstar does real quick. Can I? I'm like, what the? I know it transports, but does it do anything that's interesting? I mean, it does mortal wounds. I mean, it shoots. It's has some missiles and some las cannons. I'm not really. Can it transport aggressors? Can it even still transport? Yeah, there we go. Unit capacity. Okay. Yeah, it actually can. Each jetpack, Gravis. So yeah, this could take Gravis Marine. So I mean, maybe. I don't think so because you need the characters. But dang, what's happening in here? Maybe. So either way, he could take the Eradicators, whatever he kind of wants, not the Centurions into that unit. But a very odd list. I'm not gonna spend too much time there because I was a little lost. But unusual list. 75 points. So it was actually one of his harder matchups, and I really want to go back and do a little bit more research on that. Probably caught him off guard too, like I was saying at the beginning of this stream. Is sometimes you just don't know what people are bringing, and that could be hard for you too. Last but not least, another chaos like list. So let's see what happened here. He has War Dogs, so he doesn't have the big, thick, stompy boy at the top, and then a bunch of Brigands and Carnivores again, followed by Nurglings, Blue Scribe, and Changeling for his secondary. God dang, our boy had to go against Chaos Knights for a second time at that event, but this time he did win with 82 points. I really do think it's because the lack of the large sorry, I'm remembering far on the name of the Knight Rampager. The Knight Rampager himself can one-shot Moz, can one-shot Gaz, obviously can one-shot a whole unit of Squig boys to a certain extent. So not having him on the list makes a huge difference going into that. But great job beating that list. I think because he caps out almost at what Ork can do for damage output, because that's what I think. This is one of those weird times with Adam Douglas's list where Orks straight up go for, I'm going for killing potential. We're not trying to meet you on the garbage skirmish. We're not straight up just trying to occupy the table with bodies. Everything here is here to crump. He either knew his meta. This is what it means when you know your meta and your terrain, because he went for full damage on this list. He has 2 beast bosses, Ghazghkull, Maz, Nabmon, Smash, Iwapa, Skill Chopper, War Boss, 2 Beast Snagga boys units, 3 trucks. That's just enough to escort the Knobs and the Beast Snagga boys. Only 1 unit of Gretchen, just to hold his home field, just to screen, just to get secondary. Mega Knobs, just to escort Gas, just to give him devastating, just to get his +1 to hit, +1 to wound. And then 3-man units, Skragbad boys, just enough to run around and barely skirmish, and 3 units Stormman boys. That's what I mean. These Skragbad boys are being used more to stand on objectives and do small baby fights and really put all the pressure in the game. Just throw on the beginning. Very interesting to see. This is a high skill ceiling list. I'm not saying run around and use this. Know what your meta is, but if you're running into a lot of thickness meat problem, this is the kind of list that could be helping you solve that. So great job to Adam Douglas. I love to see it. I love to see the dynamic duo of Gaz and Maz. It's really interesting. It's really fun. I can really imagine it being really intimidating for your opponents. And we've seen Gaz about 3 times out of 3 times on these lists that we've gone over today.